Okay, I think the topic elders gave was social media best practices. Actually, I deviated from that eldo. One particular reason is my team helped me put this presentation. Then they said you're not supposed to call this presentation as best practices. There is enough and more articles on the internet that says best practices. And even Zuckerberg doesn't know how Instagram works. So you are not a star. So they made me change the name of the presentation. They said, go and talk about what worked for us. Probably that's the appropriate thing that you can do. Limit yourself to that. So taking my team's advice and social media team's advice, I'm going to restrict myself to talk about what worked for us as a brand. Probably there are definitely learnings that other brands, other larger companies as well could take from here. So probably if you can relate to it and implement a few things at your own place, I think it should work. The first thing is basic things. If you are building a brand, the brand has to speak about one particular thing. You can't be a brand that talks about anything and everything. Unless you are an individual creator or something, you can talk about any random stuff. But if you are a brand, talk about one particular thing. For us, cook is all about food and recipes. There is nothing that we talk about. There is no movie, that we don't talk about movies, we don't talk about finance, we don't talk about anything. There is only one thing that we talk about. So people know us for only one thing. They can actually associate you with only one thing. So ensure that you talk about one thing and you are really good at that. The second thing is you obviously need to know your audience. You can't say that, I can't address on social media to a 60-year-old. Probably they cannot relate to the content that you put out. At the same time, for example, my audience, the content I'm going to speak about is for people from the age group of 30 to 50. I cannot use a Korean drama reference in my content, which is again irrelevant. So you should know your audience and who you are talking to. That's very important. And this is one thing that's applicable. If you read any article, it will say that. One thing that people fail to do is they give an attempt on social media to build a brand, but in a short span of time they give up. So social media is always about being consistent. As an example, since end of 2019 and beginning of 2020 when we launched Cook, till day there has always been one new recipe video at least going out. And these days obviously the scale is higher, we do 2 videos, but there has never been a day where we have not posted content. Which means if you're building a brand, you need to be consistent. That consistency could be 1 content a day or 2 per week or 3 per week. It could be anything, but it's just that you have to stick to it and you have to be consistent. That's how you build your audience, and more than building an audience, you have to retain your audience. And if you're working with a social media agency, the first target they give is I want this many followers and I want this many likes. But the point is if you work towards followers and likes, it's not sustainable, and that's not how you build a brand. You actually need to work for engagement. Like how I'm speaking to you, or probably when I speak to elders, it's a one-on-one communication. If I'm speaking to you, it's a one-to-many communication. What I want to do here as a brand is I want to talk to people, and I want these people to talk to me. That's when I know that they're already engaged with me, and I know that they are actually invested in what I'm telling. So you have to focus on engagement rather than the likes or the number of followers or the subscribers. Which means that if you think that I'm putting this out, would it make someone talk to me back? If the answer is no, then you're not putting the right content on social media. So that's again a basic sanity, these 4 points. Then probably now I'll go into decoding each of these platforms and say what works for us. On Instagram, how many of you don't use Instagram? Okay, fair enough. So some point of it might not be relevant to you, but if you notice, Instagram has this new format of video content called Reels, and it's essentially vertical videos. So it's just vertical videos where you keep scrolling and keep seeing the next video. And this is a format of content that is working on Instagram, and this is the only format of content Instagram is pushing. They don't push static photos and videos anymore. So which means if you want your brand to be strong and grow on Instagram, you have to have a very strong reel strategy. And I want to talk about reel strategy. When it comes to reels, like you see, I'm scrolling. So I can keep continuously scrolling and find new content, which means that when your content is there on someone's screen, it has to probably make them stop and watch. So every single audience would probably give you a 2-3 second time. So your first 3-second hook has to be really, really important. It could be something like, if, for example, in our case, it's recipes. So we usually end up showing the final output in the first 2 seconds, which is a teaser of the entire video. Or we end up claiming a problem statement. We say that this is the easiest chicken curry you could ever make. Then someone is intrigued, oh, someone is saying easiest chicken curry, can I find out what? So your 3-second hook is really, really important. Next, obviously, it has to be relevant to your audience. Like I said, you can't have a Korean reference when you're talking to a senior audience. And this is a practice that we follow up to. Like every single creator, when they ideate a real content, they write an answer of why do you think someone should watch it. If you don't have a solid answer for it, that content doesn't even go into production. Or even if the content is produced, if they don't have a solid answer for it, we don't publish the content. If you don't even have a solid answer of why someone should watch it, that content is not worth putting out. For us, it's about limited inventory. Like, we have 365 days a year to put out content. We don't want to waste one slot with some content that we are not happy with. So that's a question that you need to have answer for. And Reels is all about watching it again and again. So if you watch the same reel again and again, Instagram believes that you like the content very much, which means that it will show more content from the same brand, which will end up that consumer following your brand. So see to that if you can figure out a loop where someone keeps watching the same content once or twice. I'll definitely give you an example. There is a reference video as well. There are two important features on Instagram apart from likes and comments. Likes and comments, obviously, when someone likes it, they click like. When someone wants to comment about it, they click comment. So there are two important features, which is shares and saves. Save or bookmark is a feature where you like a content, you save it in your own profile so that you can go back and refer to it whenever you want. Or share is something where I like it, I want to share it with a few of my friends. So you end up sharing it on Instagram. So the content that has more number of shares and saves reaches more audience than the content that has more number of likes and comments. It has to go with that. And at any point in a video, like the video could be great for first 10 seconds, but it can't be boring for the next 10 seconds. So if it is a 30-second video, the entire 30 seconds has to be interesting. I have a reference. I'll play it. You can see it. Salem, Coimbatore, இப்படி கொங்கு நாடு சைடுல பிறந்து வளர்ந்த என்ன மாதிரி எல்லாருக்குமே ஃபேவரட் அண்ட் கம்ஃபர்ட் ஃபுட். The videos in Tamil இருக்க முடியும். அரிசி பருப்பு சாதம். இன்ஃபேக்ட் பிரியாணில ஒரே டேபிள் வச்சா நீங்க எல்லாருமே அரிசி பருப்பு சாப்பிடணும்னு சூஸ் பண்ணுவோம். அவ்வளவு பிடிக்கும் எனக்கு. யாராவது உடம்பு சரியில்லை அரிசி பருப்பு சாதம். டிராவல் பண்ணணும்னா அரிசி பருப்பு சாதம். வீட்டுக்கு சடனா கெஸ்ட் வராங்களா இல்லை எங்கேயாவது போயிட்டு லேட்டாக வீட்டுக்கு வரணும் ஆனால் இரு கொஞ்சம் அரிசி பருப்பு சாதம் வச்சுக்கலாம். இந்த டயலாக்ல எல்லா வீட்லையும் சொல்லி கேட்டிருக்கோம். ஒரு சிம்பிள் மசாலா பிளான் குக்கர் வச்சுங்க மற்ற எல்லாத்தையும் போட்டு அரிசி பருப்போட ஒரு 2 விசில் குக் பண்ணா இந்த கொங்கு நாட்டு பிரியாணி ரெடி. ஒரு 2 ஸ்பூன் நெய் ஊற்றி இது சாப்பிடாதீங்க, நம்மளாம் செம்மையா போச்சுப்போம். வழக்கமா கறி எடுத்து சாப்பிடாம என் ஸ்டைல வடகத்துக்குள்ள ஃபில்லப் பண்ணி சாப்பிட்டு பாருங்க. இந்த வீடியோவை தேடி வந்து கமெண்ட்ல நீங்க பாராட்டி போவீங்க. So this video did 5 million views and the week that this video was posted, this Arasim Barpo was made 5,000 times using the cooked up. So which means that we could actually create a demand for a recipe using such videos. Obviously it features me and that's my voice as well. So if you notice the first 3-second hook, it is the plating of the product. So that's checked. Second one is this is a recipe that's easy and everyone would want to make. So that's a value there. And there is an end and the recipe is not too descriptive where someone goes on to the next. They might want to watch it again. And this is a South Indian recipe. We have a lot of South Indian following, so they would want to watch it. They would want to share it. And obviously, if they want the recipe, they will share it. If they think their friends might want the recipe, if they think their friends might want the recipe, they share it. If they think they want the recipe, they end up saving it. So it checks those 2 boxes as well. And there is a continuous storytelling. At any point, there is no doubt. There are statements like, "This is Kongu Nadu's biryani," where that's a powerful statement. So suddenly, an audience may think, "Oh yeah, I can relate to it." They go and end up commenting it. So these are certain guidelines. I think if you follow for any of your content, the chances of the content doing well are really high. And Facebook is a platform I'll quickly go over because I mean, to be honest, for a Gen X and the Gen Z brand, Facebook is a platform that's literally dead, but there is a lot of users still on Facebook and it's a great marketing platform. I would say the platform is now inclined towards the first generation of internet users. So they could be from tier 2, tier 3 cities who have access to the internet for the first time, which is essentially why regional languages and vernacular content do really well on Facebook, but not on Instagram. Instagram, the common language is English, but on Facebook, there's a lot of regional content going around. If it comes to videos, like it's not short videos, it's longer 3-minute videos are the kind of videos that works on Facebook. And obviously, if the content has a star or a celebrity, it does well. Because obviously, these people end up using TV as much as they've used phone. So which means that if they could relate to both of them or the people that they see on TV or on Facebook, it works. Again, if a brand is targeting such kind of audience, I think that's still a good platform. I'll quickly move on to YouTube. YouTube again is now following the lines of Instagram and they're banking a lot on the short form video content called shorts. So essentially, reels and shorts are same. It's the same character dressed in a different costume. That's it. Same. YouTube is spending a lot of money in promoting short format content. So whatever basic sanity checks I gave on Instagram Reels, the same thing applies for YouTube Shorts as well. Apart from that, YouTube is still a great platform for long form content. When it comes to that, you should have a really attractive thumbnail, because your video thumbnail might be shown to 100 people, but out of 100 people, how many people click the thumbnail and go and start watching your video is really important. They call it as click-through rate, CTR. So our CTRs are usually around 5-6%. Immediate proof content. So if you want to say something directly. Don't try to be too intelligent on YouTube, because that's not the kind of audience you're targeting on YouTube. And when it comes to YouTube, there are, at least you should start doing 10-15 videos. By the 10th-15th video, you would have seen 2 videos of yours doing really well, and you double down on that. That's how YouTube is built. Even in our case, not all recipes work, not all format of content on YouTube works. So we double down on content that actually works for us. And time of posting is really important, similar to TV, which means that for a consumer, if you see someone using YouTube, there are certain times that they pick up the phone and use YouTube. It could be during the lunch break, it could be during evening, transit from office to home, or after lying in bed they do it. So they have a pattern, which means that you should also have a pattern in terms of posting, which gives you a higher chance of your audience being there at the right time. So if 6 o'clock every day works for you, 6 o'clock every day is the time that you post. And you have to start creating series and IPs. For example, we have a series called Better Than the Best, which is making restaurant recipes at home, restaurant recipes better at home. So that series. So we create these sort of IPs and series of content so that people come back and watch the next episode of that content. That's important. And if you go to a movie hall, I think this is something that we could all relate to. You would have heard people say that the start of the movie was great, the interval block was excellent, the climax was also great, but in between, I didn't like it. But you don't have a choice. You paid for it, you'll end up sitting through the entire movie. But on YouTube, people have a choice. They can go out. So there are 2 videos of ours. The first video obviously is a video that did well. The second video is a video that didn't do well, which means that you have a great start, but beyond that your engagement is dropping. But if you see the other video, at every time the engagement dropping, you can see an up. So which means that there would be certain elements on the screen. It would be a transition, it would be a statement, it would be a transition into a next frame. So you have to have continuous engagement elements. Like I said, every single word that you utter on a video has to be meaningful, which means that you have to do a lot of prep when you even go in front of the camera. So obviously continuous engagement is really important. So the more the continuous engagement is, YouTube suddenly will start showing your video to a lot more people, and if a lot more people like you, they'll end up subscribing to your channel. That's how even new creators are born every single day. Like someone who has a good phone and has a good knack for creating content could end up being a YouTuber with 1 million followers in a year if they stick to it. And I can show another reference video that it's a YouTube short video.
For someone who doesn't know how to change a gas cylinder, then this video is for you. You have to pull the tab and lift the top. If a cylinder is light, it's fair to assume that it's empty. This alphabet indicates the quarter of the year, and the number is the year meant for rechecking. This indicates the weight of the gas inside the cylinder, and this is the weight of the cylinder. To change a cylinder, first close the valve, then pull up the clip and lift the gas regulator. To check for gas leaks, listen to any hissing noise or smell. If yes, remove and reattach the fitting. The pressure of the flame indicates a good flow of gas. Change the pipes yearly or if there is any damage. Always store an empty cylinder with a cap on. Don't damage your hose. Call the 1906 helpline number for any gas leakage issues. Hope this helped. Let us know in the comments below if you have any kitchen tips.
This video did 1 million on Instagram, but it did 7 million on YouTube, which means that you can see the kind of audience that you're targeting. Probably the kind of audience that you see on Instagram might be aware of the information that's mentioned here, but the audience on YouTube might not be aware of the information. That's why they want to see videos like this. So even our strategy for platform to platform keeps changing, the language keeps changing, the personalities keep changing. So that's about it. I don't have another slide. So thank you, and hopefully this helps some of you tweak your content strategy or social media strategy.